So yesterday I saw this clip on AGT. It was this singer.
Okay.
The way the guy was singing, I was like, oh man, I used to sing one time. I wish I could sing.
Okay.
And then maybe act.
Okay.
And then maybe try. Sometimes some people now, they don't even want to take our job now. They're not even hosting shows.
Wow.
That's talking about our guest today on the show. Did you want to tell us more about our guest on the show today?
Well, all those jabs are well-founded and they landed. But the issue is, when you have a fine boy on set, you know,
Winfrey should be here, man.
you know, I don't know. I'm really pleased to introduce David Eyo, an actor, lifestyle content creator, influencer, and one-time Mr. Tourism World Nigeria.
You're also the face of a cosmetic brand, by the way. How does a cosmetic brand use a guy for a face?
They were trying to sell and drive the skincare market for guys because, you know, like a lot of people have made it look like guys cannot use skincare.
Yeah.
And I mean, most importantly, we don't have the privilege to use makeup to cover our spots and all of that. So, like, the only thing we can do is exfoliate, moisturize, and pray to God that, you know, the product work.
You do all of that? Wow.
Yeah, but men are definitely taking a lot better care of themselves now.
Yes.
I feel like there's been an evolution, especially with the male pageantry.
Yes, yes.
But you have to talk about that. That must have been an experience.
You know, that's the funny thing. You've done so much. Well, he's quite a young guy, by the way. But tell us how, from pageantry, how did it all start for you? Just tell us about the journey.
So I grew up in Calabar, Cross River State. I've always had the big dream of becoming a superstar. So for me, everything was, I always wanted to make sure that I could touch anything that would put me out there. Would probably help propel me and also bring me to like the limelight. So for me, pageantry was something that I always thought about. But because I wasn't the stereotype kind of like pageant, you know, man with abs and muscles and all of that, I came to change the narrative. Right. And yeah, it sounds very simple, but I assure you, I had a lot of, you know, anxiety, a lot of trolling. I remember the first time I auditioned, a particular person went on social media, compiled a list of worst picks for that year, for that particular pageant.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and I was amongst you know, the people who were selected, right?
Can you imagine?
So that really, you know, it really messed with my mental health. Yes. I kept on asking myself, why am I doing this? What is the point? But then I have always been resilient. I've always, you know, when they say I can't, I make sure I show them that I can. So that I turned that into you know, like a firewood, you know, to burn my fire. And so I went ahead with the pageant, and I said to myself, I said, they might have the body, but I look better in clothes. So I'm going to use
Understanding where your strengths are. I like that.
yeah, so I'm going to use my strengths to the best of my ability. I think another thing that also helped me stand out was the fact that I remember during the cultural display, right, in the hall, I had only invited 2 people, but I knew I was going to win the crowd because, first of all, I was representing my state. And
Of course.
I knew how to dance.
Wow.
So I knew that, and luckily for me, it was like the first outing. And that was how, you know, I was able to gather more fans and become the crowd's favorite.
Yes, so.
Yeah, I did.
After the trolling and all of that, man, that is quite a tale. And then moving on from that, you also sing and now you act.
Yes. I've always told myself that I would never put myself in a box. I would want to explore all of the talents
that you have.
That I have. And God willing, I have been able to, you know, be on 2 music shows. I think acting for me, I paused acting for a while because I felt like, you know, maybe I had a path in music. And then one random day I got a DM and it was for the show Covenant, and I was asked to audition. I didn't take it seriously, honestly. I had aired the message for like 3 days, and then I don't think I've ever said this out. I was bored, so I replied.
Wow!
Yeah.
I like that.
You were bored.
Yeah.
I was bored, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just indulge this person, because in my head I felt like, you know, it's probably one of these cooks that are trying to.
Yeah, it's social media, so man, anything can happen.
So one thing led to the other, and I became Adekunle Jimakinde.
And I hear he's a bad guy.
Yes, he is.
A bad guy.
It's that show is a show that in some ways redefined a lot of things, because there's the class, there's the panache and all of that.
Yeah.
You are a governor's son on the show and all of that. You're doing different characters. What impact? I know you had to be in cap and all of that. What impact did that show or being on that set have on your life as a person?
I feel like it rewired, because for me, it sort of tapped some part of my childhood, and I sort of related to what he was going through. I knew where his mental space was, because not that I had to struggle for attention, but being the seventh child of 8, out of 8 kids, it was always a case of everybody there were kids to always look out for, and attention wasn't 100, right? And for me, I believe that it was as I grew that, I started noticing everything that I now appreciate, everything that my parents did for me and whatnot. But as at the time, all I wanted was attention. And I know that is basically the problem that, Adekule has.
So you could easily relate
I could
to the
easily
character.
relate to the
Yeah?
character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was like a lot of the viewers, I knew that a lot of people were going to misunderstand him, because, there's no reason for him to shout, He was just trying to always want his father's...
heard,
he wants to be heard.
Approval.
He just wanted validation from his parents. And being that his parents were very busy with politics and, trying to make more money, he was not seen. And I think the only opportunity that he had to be seen was, when his brother went MIA, and and he had to fill up the gap, and then he became like the trophy son. And because of that, when his brother returned, it changes everything.
Changed the dynamic.
It just changed the dynamic.
So I actually want to touch on that. I want to piggyback on this issue of approval from parenting and the industry you're in. Now, you've delved into some industries that many parents of a certain generation just didn't approve of. And you've pushed the envelope into so many areas. But what sort of responses did you get from your family and friends?
I feel like, well, in all honesty, I think my parents were just focused on I should finish school first. Because I remember my father would always tell me, you can do whatever you want. I just want to make sure that you're done with school. I want that when you're speaking, nobody has the right to tell you, oh, you're an illiterate, or you didn't finish school.
I like that,
I want that when you speak, people know that, okay, you're coming from somewhere. This person has backing. So my mom wasn't a very, she wasn't like 100 my #1 fan when it came to entertainment. But I think things changed when I was going on The Voice.
Oh, okay.
And then they reached out to me that they wanted to fly to Calabar to do an interview. I had never seen my mother so excited. My mom went for a burial that day.
Wow.
Told me to tell them to wait, that if she's not back, that they shouldn't start filming.
Wow.
This is from personal experience. You see, they might not be approval. When someone says, I saw your son somewhere.
Exactly.
You see that thing? You know what it does to parents?
Yeah.
Out of the blue. You're like, was that your son? I was David. David, I've been supporting him.
Trust me, I assure you. I think throughout the interview, I was very I was shook, because there were so many things she was saying. I was like,
Really?
okay.
Is this my mother?
Is this
Who
you?
are you?
Right. And then she dressed up. She got all prepped and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, since then, it's just been, oh, I support you. My mom actually sends me audition.
Notices.
Yes.
Whoa.
And
Wonderful.
Like, she literally sends me a lot.
Big shout out to mom. Big shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
You raised a wonderful man, young man.
Yes,
I wish we
sir.
had more time to talk to you. We don't have so much time. But hey, David, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And this was quite a nice reveal. I've learned one or two things from you. At least I've learned how to deal with pressure and rejection, as it were, or social media has not been turning stuff around.
Definitely.
The same thing that they gave you a list for, you came out to win.
Yes.
I'm coming with all of you. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you
It's been a
very much
pleasure.
for having me.
All right. Okay, so Winfrey, what have you been rejected on before? Tell us now. Because that thing, you're coming back for it.
True love.